Good morning, good day. Thank you for taking your time to join us today. Before we get started, I do want to introduce a couple of presenters today. We'll be joined, of course, myself, Tim Watts, Team Lead Annuity VP over here at IAMS. I've also got Griffin Gajero, who's helping out, also on our annuity sales team. And then we've got Kent Jackway, who's the founder of ALYZER, formerly ALYZER. Super excited to present today. You know, ALYZER's gone through some recent changes that Ken is going to be going over. And then we've got an exclusive offer to you that I think if you actually take advantage of it would be at least 2, if not 3 sales for you. And we're going to do a ton of work to help you out with that. We will have a few polls during the webinar. Would love your participation in that. The person who participates the highest today is going to get double the offer that we're offering to everybody. So I do encourage everybody to participate in those polls, and questions are openly requested. We definitely want you to ask all of those questions. Leave no stone unturned here. Kent's going to do a great job of getting those all answered at the end of there. Before I turn it over to Griffin, I do want to highlight one of our biggest commitments is our best-in-class customer service. One of the ways that we do that is we don't make you go through a dial by name directory or leave a voicemail. We're going to answer every single call with a live person. Could be myself, could be Griffin, could be Steve, our president. Our goal is to help get you taken care of, or within one transfer, get you over to exactly who you need to get you all taken care of. That number, if you haven't heard it and given us a call yet, it's 800-255-5055. Now I'm going to turn it over to Griffin. He's going to highlight a few of the programs that agents really enjoy utilizing over here at IAMS and might be great for you and your practice as well. Griffin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tim. This is Griffin Gajero, and the first thing I'm going to talk about here today is our new producer builders, and these are for our agents that are new to us here at IAMS. These bonuses are available based on your production in the first 180 days of you contracting with us. So we have great levels that you can qualify for, and as you can see, each level there are some great options. We've got incredible business building tools, personal perks, and even some cash rewards are available. So if you would like to know where you stand toward your new producer builder, or if you would just like to have a conversation on how to achieve that next level, please give us a call or talk to your sales advisor or sales director. Another builders program we provide for our agents is called the Referred Producer Program. Looks like I see a couple of you all in here today that have taken advantage of this program. Our business on the wholesale side of the industry is much like yours in the sense that one of the best leads we could ever receive is a referral from our valued producers. So that's why we want to make it worth your while to refer a producer to us. So when you refer a producer and they get contracted, we'll cut you a $50 thank you check. But where the real money comes in is when your referral actually writes business, then that's when you'll receive an override on that business. So our ownership team, Charles, Steve, Curtis, and Chris, sign checks for thousands of dollars every quarter. And with that being said, if you can think of anyone who could benefit from doing business with our team, please don't hesitate to put their information either in the questions box, or you can email me or Tim after this presentation today. So below that is our marketing reimbursement program, which is actually one of our most popular programs that we offer. So for every 100,000 in FIA premium, you get $100 in your marketing reimbursement account. So why this is so popular and lucrative for our advisors is that we truly do consider this to be your money. You have the flexibility on what services and who and when you use these services with. So it is truly your marketing reimbursement, because we don't tell you what vendors you have to use. We do have some recommended vendors that we partner with and leverage reduced rates and preferred services, but we do have our creative team to create marketing strategies and provide in-house services for you as well. So if you would like to know how much is in your marketing reimbursement account, or if or you can have a conversation about how to utilize it. And you can give your sales director a call at our office, and we would love to speak to you about that. Another thing we pride ourselves on here at IMES is our back office support. It's another way we can add value to your business. It's a core here at IMES and how Charles Hearing founded us years ago. So we want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder. So we're going to do that with great business building tools and resources. And of course, that is our advanced case design assistance, life and annuity quotes. And that's another area that we can assist with. So we're going to get you those illustrations that you request as well within 24 hours. And I'm going to be honest with you, in all reality, it's going to be much quicker than that, usually around within the hours. So we also have submission to commission support, and that's handled by our new business team. Mackenzie leads the annuity team, and Michelle heads the life side. So they have fantastic teams that work tirelessly to help get you commissioned quicker. We'll scrub your applications, submit them on your behalf, do the administrative tracking, and get updates on your cases as needed. So we do this to ensure that you get your commission as quick as possible. So this is a service that we provide to all of our valued producers, and it's just another way of how we can help you grow your business, and by keeping you in front of clients while our team handles the back office support for you. And also, when you are with us, we have our fantastic website. That's a great tool for producers and just another great reason to work with us here at IMES, because once you're contracted, you'll have full access to everything you see on this slide and a whole lot more at imesinc.com. So if you haven't registered for the website, it's super simple to do so. When you're done with this call, just go ahead and create an account. We'd love to see you there. So a lot of great resources are available, including illustration tools, online forms, product grids, and product news, as well as industry updates are out there for you as well. So as I'm pretty sure everyone knows, technology is the future of the industry, and Luma is one of our newest partnerships to streamline the application process. So for most of our carriers, they are now on Luma Firelight eApp, the eApp platform. So you can go to one site and submit business. Some carriers are going to eApp only for some of their product lines, and will also offer some extra comp for utilizing the eApp platform. So just make sure that you're asking your sales director before you're submitting any paper apps, because you might be able to earn a little bit more by utilizing an eApp. Here at IMES, we also do have a full in-house creative team that we can uh, help your practice and get a lot of items that are turnkey and available for you. Many of our sales resources are white label, so we can just simply impose your contact information and your business logos onto it. And why I am speaking of logos, our agency solutions is another area of expertise on our team. So if you haven't created a full customized brand for your agency, we can most certainly help you with that. So this is going to assist you with name recognition, which is super important because this helps you grow your practice naturally and organically. So lastly, digital marketing solutions are a very popular topic here at IMES, and we can help you with websites, social media marketing, email marketing, and so much more. The internet and social media sites are where the overwhelming majority of prospects go for information. So making sure that you're accessible and are having a great presence in those markets is beneficial to growing your business. So reach out to myself or any of our other sales directors after this webinar concludes and talk to them about how IMES Creative can certainly help you get that ball rolling. Also, with our creative services, we are also offering a marketing analysis for agents looking to explore new sales ideas and programs. Whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned producer, this is a free assessment that can help you boost your business with insights on your website, digital presence, branding, and current marketing activities, as well as recommendations on trusted vendors for everything from lead generation to seminars and social content. So reach out to your sales director to get started at any time. And lastly, from me today, I just want to talk about our IMES Wealth We founded this 7 years ago, and we've just been slowly growing it organically over time. So we've helped our advisors become IARs and pass the Series 65 at a very successful clip. So once they have you registered, IMS Wealth will bring great value to your practice with an incredibly competitive fees structure for both you and your clientele. So we have great technologies and the great investment platforms that you can utilize as well. And this has been a major growth sector of our business and assets under management, and could be a major growth sector for you as well. And I think there is going to be a poll that's going to pop up here in a second. Asking if you would like to hear more information on IMS Wealth Management. But that is actually everything from me. So I'm going to go ahead and kick things back over to Tim, and he can tell you a little bit more about our upcoming incentive trips.
Awesome. Thanks, Griffin. And actually, we didn't load that poll, but as we make our follow-up calls, if you would like some information about our IMS Wealth, we'd certainly love to help you out with that. We do have a couple polls coming up, so definitely some opportunities to be that top contributor to those polls and questions and earn the extra freebies today. We've got 3 trips that you could qualify for just by doing business over here at IMS. The first one that I'm going to highlight today is our trip to Dominican Republic. Now, this is for Athene Business, and we're going to be taking off in March of 2026. Definitely give myself or your sales director a call to know where you stand on that. Next, we've got our Park City trip. This is with Silac Sales. An extreme low minimum of $2 million in paid production gets you qualified this the month after the Dominican Republic trip. So this will be April of 2026. You and a guest get to go out there for an extremely amazing mountain adventure. We'd love to see you out there. Additionally, we've got another trip that you can qualify for, and this was with any carriers. Icing on the cake with this one is any business that was submitted in August, as well as submitted and paid in September, is going to qualify for double trip credits for that. I don't know the location yet, but I can tell you that qualification will end December 31st of 2026. So this is an 18-month qualification, plenty of time to qualify for. It's going to be a beach location, nice and warm. There, the early spring of 2027 is when the trip will be. All right, we do have our first poll coming up here. This is going to be for our Life and Annuity Academy. Let me go ahead and get that poll up here, and then I'm going to give you some information about this. So we do have in-person annuity and life insurance training academies. Now, these master class include around 20 presenters going over top marketing strategies, taking a deep dive into the products that are available in our ever-evolving industry, as well as advanced sales techniques, teaching you new and innovative ways to position annuities and life insurance. Essentially, we want to give you more tools in your toolbox so you can help out more of those clients. Do you see some participation in that poll? Again, reminder, the person who participates the most is going to get double the free offers that we have today, and there's only one who's going to get that. So definitely would love your interaction on this one. I'll leave that up for just about another 15 seconds. We cover all of your expenses to this Life and Annuity Academy, including the cost of travel out there. And then when you're there, you're our guest. So we've got everything taken care of there for you. Thank you for everybody who participated. That's a great response right there. Let's keep that up for the next ones. With that being said, let me get over to the next slide. We do have Facebook and LinkedIn readily available for you. If you haven't followed us or liked us over there yet, definitely go ahead and get that going. It's an easy way to stay connected, get those industry highlights as well as any changes to rates sent straight to those social medias. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get the, there we go. All right, Kent should be ready for you to bring up your presentation. So while Kent's bringing up his presentation, and there we can see him on the video as well, I do want to just quickly talk about ALYZER. If you haven't heard about ALYZER, this is a tool that's going to differentiate you from all the other advisors because it's going to give you the ability to get your clients a more accurate range on what to expect from their investment. We all know we've seen that illustration, and it shows crazy growth, and that's not necessarily setting us up for success. ALYZER is a way for you to differentiate yourself, provide your clients with more accurate information, and then also set yourself up for success. So at the end, we will talk about this new and exclusive offer that we're going to be extending to everybody on the webinar right now. But with that being said, Kent, see your screen, see on the screen. So rock and roll.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys, today we're going to go through just two of our programs that are available in ALYZER. When you sign up for a subscription, you get access to everything. But I want to just really kind of piggyback on what Tim was saying there. So I'm going to go into Index ALYZER real quick. And, you know, backtesting is backtesting. It is a way that you can actually assist your clients with allocations with using data instead of theory. So what we try to provide to you is a more accurate look at what really happened in these index annuity crediting strategies. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick a case here. We'll go Arizona, age 55, $100,000. We'll look at Athene, and I'm going to look at the Performance Elite 10. Now down here, you got these two options called drawdown and retro pricing. So I'm going to set this drawdown to 0 and not turn retro pricing on. I'll explain them here in just a minute. We'll go ahead and view the report. Now, what you get on the report, first of all, is a nice quick definition of each index. And you also get their launch date. So you can tell how much the data is live versus back-tested data from the index. So let me explain that real quick. Guys, all of our back testing that we do, we don't do any like reverse Monte Carlos or anything like that to figure out what would happen prior to that launch date. We get the actual closing prices, sometimes back all the way to 2002, directly from the index provider. And like if you look at this UBS one here, there's a key phrase in here, rules-based index. If it is a rules-based index, then the hypothetical movement of the index prior to that launch date of 3/20/23 is exactly what would have happened if they would have launched it 20 years ago, because they put the rules into their system and there's no human interference. Every index that we use in the fixed index world, with the exception of the BlackRock Claria, is a rules-based index. So when we look at the back testing, we look at some of the charts and stuff, you know, you're going to see a lot of these indexes had a great run and then they've dove off a little bit. I'm going to explain exactly why that's happening. It's not because they're trying to trick you guys or make their index look better. There is an economic reason for it. So having said that, let's scroll down here and look at the performances. Okay, here we go. So this number here, this return, that is an annual compound return for a 10-year time period. All of our back testing is done on a 10-year back test, just like the illustrations. Now, this number is absurd. I mean, if this was real, I would literally call every bank I know and borrow every dollar I can, promise them a 10% interest rate, and I would buy this product. Because if you're telling me it did 20.58% over the last 10 years and I can't lose in this, oh, all day long, this thing would be amazing. But this number is not accurate. It's not that it's, you know, just weird or whatever. No, it is fundamentally wrong. And let me show you why. And these are the numbers that will appear in the illustrations, at least the level of these returns. Now, you might say, well, I got an illustration from Athene and it was only like 6 or 7%. Well, what they're doing, guys, is they're only using the indexes from the bottom of the list here in their illustrations now to try to water it down. And all that's giving you is bad information, because it's not necessarily about this number. It's about the order that gets placed over here, you know, 1 through 10, you know, which ones are you going to actually use? That's what, you know, ranking these does. So let me explain why these numbers are wrong. First of all, they're using today's par rate. They're using today's par rate against the last 10 years. That can't happen. Think about it logically. If I bought this AI powered global opportunity with a 2-year reset point to point, I would not have the rate from today. I would have the rate from 10 years ago, because the 10-year backtest started 10 years ago. The only time frame that 195 is going to affect is the next 10 years. So the NAIC requires Athene and every other carrier to use this method of backtesting. And that is the first problem. They're using that 195 for the past, and that literally could not happen. The other problem is they're using that 195 every single year of the last 10 years in the backtest. And we all know that these rates do fluctuate. They go down more than they go up. They do go up from time to time, but typically they go down. So that's another problem with illustrations, and why we're getting these big returns is they're not accounting for rate reductions through the 10-year backtest. And then the final thing that's wrong with illustrations is they're giving you the price of this index as of either late December or early January, and they don't update it through the year. So here we are in September, and your illustrations are going to be based on January numbers. Now, guys, understand that if I bought this product and I allocated a certain way, and you bought this product a day later and allocated the exact same way I did, we had no withdrawals, no changes through the 10 years, we're going to end up with different returns just from 1 day's difference. Now we're looking at illustrations that literally, how many days has it been since January 1st? Here we are on September 4th. So those three things are the big problems in illustrations, and we solve all three of those things. Now, I will give kudos to companies like Allianz. They update their index prices every month, so that's better. It's not perfect. And then you have Exonic that is actually updating them every day. So I need to give props to those companies because they're doing it, almost right, and then one's doing it perfectly right. So our index prices are updated every single day. So when you jump into this product tomorrow, you'll have teeny tiny changes in these returns because it's now a day later and we have a new closing price that came in on the end of the 10 years and one that fell off at the beginning. So how do we fix this? How do we show what really happened over the last 10 years? Well, the first thing is we have to address that 195 par rate. If you click on this retro pricing button here and hit view report, you're going to come down, you're going to see, oh, the returns all went down because the par rates from 10 years ago are now being used. So we have a mathematical equation, it's an actuarial equation called retro pricing that we apply, and it can literally tell us what the rates would have been 10 years ago. This is a mathematical equation that we have literally sat down face to face with 10 of the index providers and then did Zoom calls with the other ones and actually gave them our calculations and said, hey, is this right? So I've actually sat down with HSBC face to face with their whole team, and they said, yes, this works. This is so much better representation of what our indexes really did. I sat down with NASDAQ. I sat down with S&P. All of them represented here. I sat down with BNP, UBS. So I literally flew to New York and went through that equation with them and got praise on all fronts. So now we know how to figure out where to start the back test. Now, there's still a problem because in this, getting this 13.53 here is still using that 118 every single year. Well, we have to account for some renewal rates dropping, and we do that with our drawdown. Now, it is absolutely impossible to know what actually happened because you can't take an index that was launched, take that first one there, 322.23, and call Athene and say, hey, what would your people have done on a renewal in 2018? They would have no idea because first of all, they don't know who would have made those choices back then. Secondly, they didn't have the index to even make that choice with, so it's impossible to tell. So what we give you is a range of severity of drawdown. So you can do a 15, a 30, or a 60. Now, how do you pick which one? Well, one rule of thumb says this. If you can do a 60 and your numbers look good, do it. because the higher the drawdown, the more accurate the report's going to be. Because what's happening here, if I choose a 60% drawdown, is if we have a crediting method that's 100% par, no cap, no spread, and we do a back test on it. In the first year of the back test, so 2015 to 2016, they're going to get 100%. But with the 60% drawdown, years 2 through 10 are going to be ran at a 40% par rate. So we're going to reduce whatever moves in the product or in that strategy, we're going to reduce it by that 15, 30, or 60%. So it gives a real accurate depiction of what the carriers would have done, or at least how they would have done it. So when we put that 60% drawdown in and take a look at the numbers, now we see numbers that are more in line with what people actually experience owning index annuities. Now we still have some double-digit returns here. That's because we had a really good run in these indexes from 2015 up to about 2020 or 2019. You know, it's producing a really good back test. So the numbers are still competitive, but they're more in line with what people really make. Now, why do we give you the ability to toggle? Why don't we just say everything should be ran with retro pricing and then you can pick a severity of drawdown? Well, the reason why is because if you're in competition for a client with another agent that does not have access to this, they're going to be showing these big numbers from whatever product they present. So if they're showing the client, you know, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%, and you come in with 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, obviously you're going to lose that sale because numbers are numbers, and you're going to be put in a position to where you're not, you don't look as good as that other agent. Well, that's why we give you the ability to toggle this thing off and go back to zero and say, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we can show you those numbers too. We choose not to because we want to set your expectations right. What the other agent's showing you is what the industry uses as a back test, and the bottom line is it's just not accurate because they're using today's rates. What I'm showing you is what would have happened if you'd have bought this 10 years ago. So now you can really not just make yourself look good, but make the other agent look like they're not as up on the industry or as intelligent on the industry as you are. So that's going to be a huge win for you when you're battling for cases. So that's retro pricing, that's drawdown, and ALYZER exists to give you wonderful information to make that allocation page the easiest page on the app, because you can keep scrolling down in the report and you're going to get to the diversification optimizer, print this out, put it in front of them and just say, pick which way looks best to you. And then if you want to create your own, you can do a custom allocation and create your own allocation mix and see what that historical looks like. So it literally makes the allocation process easy, and you're using data instead of theory to do all of your allocations. If you use a theory, even if it's somebody else's theory, in the client's mind, that's your theory. And that means if it doesn't work out, if they don't do well, it's because of your theory, so they're going to blame you. If you're using data, your job is to show them the data and show why you're suggesting certain allocations. And then if it doesn't work out, well, it's just the data's fault. It's not yours. You did your job of showing them the data. And honestly, that's the way most carriers want it done. They don't want you making any decisions about what indexes. They want the client to make that choice, but then they don't give you anything to back that up. Well, we do. We have an affidavit at the bottom of every report that you can print out and get signed. It basically says the client represents that they're using the information in this report to assist them in making their own choices pertaining to the allocation of their index annuity. So you can actually have proof that you showed them the research, you showed them the data, they made the decision. Okay, so that's ALYZER. For the rest of the time, I want to jump into review business up here, which is Review ALYZER. This program is going to literally change your life, literally change your life. So the idea is for you to use this as a review tool, a replacement tool, and as a case management tool. Let me walk through a case with you and show you exactly how this thing works. First of all, it's going to have all your cases listed in here. Okay, so you're going to have every case. It ranks them in the order of when your next review is going to be. So it's looking at month and day, not necessarily year. You see that this one has a white background. These have green background. Some are white, some are green. If it's a white background, it's probably not going to fly through suitability because it's not 4 years old or older. If it's a green background, it's 4 years old or older, it needs to be replaced. And we actually give you totals up here. So in my case here, on my client list, I have $5 million in the green. Well, that tells me that I'm going to, if I use let's just say a 5% commission rate, okay, 5% of 5 million, I just calculated what my base salary is going to be for the next 12 months. That's something you've never had access to. So you're going to be able to really forecast, and you're going to also be able to plan. You can look ahead and if I look here and I see, okay, I'm going to have a lot of cases green in November. So by December or January, I'm going to get commissions on those cases. I'm going to have a lot of money coming in. I can choose to maybe buy some leads or do a marketing plan, throw some money back into the business. You can literally start planning and taking care and managing your business. Now, let's walk through exactly how you would use this system. So I'm going to look at this Todd H case here. So I'm going to look at it, and it's got an issue date of 9/25. So I click here and I see that I'm going to receive the information 27 days prior. So I've probably already received that annual statement. So I'm going to go and look. Oh, here it is. Yes, I've got the statement. It's right here. I've got my statement. So I'm going to mark that in my status as the statement is received. So now I'm starting to manage, and I know where I'm at with every one of my cases. I'm not going to miss anything. So I got the statement received. The next step is I need to update the new rates. So if I look at the statement, I'm seeing the current rates and I'm seeing the renewal rates. So I'm going to click into Todd here, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to update all the rates. So I'm going to look at the statement, and I'm going to see those renewal rates. And now I've already done this, just so you know, so just to save time. And you're going to go in and you're just going to click on it and update the rate. And then I hit that little check mark, and now you've updated the rate. So you go through and you do all that, and you also update your allocations because they may have some money credited. So you might need to click in here and update those allocations as well. So once you get that all updated, you're going to go back out to your case list, and you're going to say, okay, I went through that one and I've got all the rates updated. So now the question is going to be, this is a green one, so it is earmarked for replacement. Well, let's go back into it and take a look and see if this one really is a good one to look at to replace. Well, I can see that I've got money here in the BMP MAT 5. I got money in this Janus, and those two are giving me a combined historical return of only 2.95. So now I'm looking through and I'm seeing all the different historical returns. These numbers are based on the renewal rates. So the new cap, the new fixed rate, the new spread, the new par rates. So I'm seeing, wow, this one, first of all, doesn't look like we're allocated correctly. Secondly, we are probably in a situation where we don't have a really good chance to make money anymore in this. And why is that? Well, it was bought in 2019. That's when rates were really low. So we need to replace this one. So now what we can do is go in here to new annuity and select an annuity to put up against the old one. But you're saying, well, this is where I'd really like IMS's help. So before I do this, I'm going to go in here and hit this share button. And I'm going to type in my marketer's email. So I'm going to type in Tim's email here. And Tim did not know I was going to do this. So Tim, you're going to get an email here in a second. So I'm going to type in Tim's email here, and I'm going to share that case with him. So Tim just got an email from me. And now when he goes out to his review ALYZER, on his case list is going to be this case. And Tim is going to be able to go in here and pull up the new annuity and pick a product. But, you might want to tell him that. So you can actually click into the case notes here and just say, hey, Tim, can you please advise me on what product to choose, if I can type, for this client. And I'm going to hit save notes. And what's going to happen now, Tim just got another email saying that there's a case note out on this case. And then he can actually go in and put a note in back to you, and that'll send you an email knowing that he responded to your case. So now you can work with your marketer without having to try to catch them on the phone. And all of the case notes then will be stored in the case notes. So they'll actually be archived when you put the note in, the date and the time. So now
I can confirm that I got that email as well, Kent. It's working.
So now Tim's going to go in here and he's going to select an annuity, and he's going to say, okay, this client's in Ohio, 67. The surrender value, now he might actually send you a note back saying, what's the surrender value? So that surrender value is going to be right on the statement. So you tell him the surrender value is 317,542. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that since it's up there, we pick a Bexus, you know, let's say he just picked that. I don't know if he would or not, doesn't matter. And he's going to pick a product here, going to put in the full drawdown to see how it looks. We're going to turn on retro pricing, and we're going to add this annuity. So now we've got all the different options. You got the 10-year returns on the new annuity here. Now we can do an allocation mix. So say I put 34 into that one. I put 33 into that one. Well, actually, no, I don't want to. I want to go to a different index. So I'm going to put 33 down here, and then I'm going to go to the S&P and put another 33 in. So that gives me a 6.84 combined return. Now understand, guys, that is the 10-year historical on this new product with retro pricing with a 60% drawdown. So I like that number. Let's see how it looks in the comparison. So I'm going to go to the comparison, and now I'm going to sit down with my client and say, okay, well, actually, you know, we got this done. Now I'm going to go back out to my cases, and I'm going to call the client. I'm going to say, hey, Todd, we need to talk about this annuity. When can we do that? All right, let's set up for next Tuesday. Cool. Boom, go into status, review appointment set. Now we meet with Todd. We go in here and we say, all right, Todd, let me look at what we put together for you. You know, you're only tracking it at 2.95. You've had some rate drops. So I'm going to click on explanations, and I can go into here and explain why the rate drops have happened on every single one that dropped. Give the accurate, exact information of why. And all you got to do, guys, is read it. Okay, so here, bonds went from 122 to 103. That could cause your rate to decline. You know, the treasuries actually went up. That could cause it to stay the same or increase. So you just read it. So now you're telling them good reasons why the rates went down. And now we're going to go into the analysis. Now, they know they're not making money. We don't need to prove to them that they're not making money. They already know that. They're only tracking at a 2.94 historical. They're not making money. What we're going to answer now is why. Okay, Todd, here's the deal. We're going to look at where fixed rates were when you bought. We're going to look at your index's performance, and we're going to see how volatility in that index has affected your renewal rates. So let's look at it. Here we go. Here's the 5-year treasury. That's the middle of the road treasury. Okay, here's our first clue, Todd. You bought, this red line is when you bought. So this is the 10-year chart of the 5-year treasury. You bought at the worst time in the last 10 years. We didn't know it at the time. We didn't know that was going to be the worst time. But right after you bought, the 10-year started to run, or the 5-year treasury started to run. So you bought at the worst time. There's our first clue. Now let's look at your indexes. So you're going to get charts on just the indexes that he's allocated to here. All right, so we look at the MAV 5. Okay, you had a good run right off the bat, and then you dropped down, and then you had some good up years here, and then down again. Let's look at the Janus that you're in. Had a good run right away, but then down, one up year and down. So you're thinking, okay, well, I've had 1, 2 up years here. I've had 3 up years here, only 2 down. Man, why am I only making 2.94? Well, this is a big clue. It was really low rates when you started. Now let's see what volatility has done. Well, all right, on the BMP, from 22 to 23, we had a big jump up in volatility. What that means, guys, is more people were buying and selling the MAV 5. So they raised the cost of the option that backs this. When they do that, when they raise that cost, the insurance company is going to pass that on to the client. So now when we have a jump like this in volatility, what that meant was when they had this little run right here, their rates dropped. So they didn't participate that much in those little runs right there. Same with Janus. If we look at Janus, we had a big jump in volatility. So there's a rate drop there, probably stayed the same there, another jump, rate drop there. So by the time that Janus had this move from 23 to 24, they'd already had 2 rate drops. So they weren't crediting that much interest. So that is why you're not making the money you were hoping for, Todd. So now, guys, I'm breaking away from the example here. This is where you become an expert. You are literally an expert in index annuity and analysis now. And all you have to do is read this stuff, guys. There's not much to learn. You just have to read it. And now you can actually become just literally a professional that you want to be, because you can explain like nobody else has ever explained this to a client. And so now we look at the recommendations. Look to reallocate or upgrade to a new annuity. Based upon fixed rates being lower when you initially purchased the annuity than they currently are, and with the knowledge that the industry has added 88 new indexes since the year you purchased. And we give you this graph here. This graph shows how many indexes were used in fixed products and fixed index annuities year by year. So they bought in 2019, there was 116. And now at the end of 2024, it went to 204. So that's where we get the 88. So based on what year your issue date is going to determine what number that is. So now, do we need to set another appointment? No, we can go right into it. So Todd, let's look at reallocating. So the first option there, as far as what to do, first recommendation was reallocating. So it looks like the optimal allocation for you in this will be 75 into the 8% S&P risk control and 25 into that BMP. So that would net you out at a 4.75 historical. That is much better than your 2.94. But are you really excited about 4.75, Todd? And he's going to say, no, I'm not. I was hoping, that illustration that I was shown when I bought this thing was saying like 8, 9, 10%. And I'm only, now the best I can do is 4.75. Well, that's what I think too. So let's take a look at what a new annuity would look like. So we've set this up for you. And we did an allocation mix here and let me show you how the numbers pan out. So Todd, you've got 323,000 right now in your annuity. If you were to stay the same and don't do anything, you're going to stay at that 2.94. If you do a little bit of paperwork, we'll get you out of that red line into the blue line, and we can get your historical up to 4.75. The higher we can make this historical, the better chance you have at making money. So what would it take to get you into this green, into this 6.84? Well, here, let's look at it. So we would have to surrender your current annuity. So that means you're going to pay $5,651 in surrender charge, or that's a 1.75 fee. So we'd be bringing over the $317,542, but you're going to pick up this 17.5 bonus. So you're going to get 55,000 credit to your account day one. So that's going to bring you to 373,112. That's why the green line starts higher than the red and the blue. So now we've started higher, and historically, we're looking at the exact same 10 years as we're looking at your current product. And now you could get up to the 6.84, which is so much better. Now, guys, if on the new annuity, you don't think 6.84 is big enough, we could change it and say, all right, let's do the same product here, but let's look at it with a 30% drawdown. You just got to have some sort of drawdown in there. Now, if we do that same allocation mix and we go into the different indexes here, now we've got 8.13. That's going to look a lot better. Okay. So the client might ask, how is that one so much higher if it's the same 10 years? Well, remember those 88 indexes I talked about that are brand new? That's why, because the industry's just gotten stronger. And Todd says, okay, this is great. Let's do it. So now he decides to make his purchase. So you fill out the new app and you get it submitted. Now you're going to be waiting on the 1035. So how do you mark that case? You go here and say replacement pending. So now it's going to go yellow. So now let's look at the case above that. That one's also coming up for review, but we're not going to do anything. We're just going to walk through, get the statement, update the rates. Maybe we're not even going to move anything, so we don't need the appointment. We're just going to mark it allocations updated. So what's going to happen, guys, is when we get past these dates, these are going to fall to the bottom of your list. Now, if they're not marked replacement pending, and they're marked allocations updated, when they fall to the bottom, they're automatically going to go back to in force. That way, next year when they come around, you can go through the same process again. But if you mark it replacement pending, it gets a yellow background. The numbers come up here in your total, so you can actually see how much you have that you're going to replace. And then it will stay that way, even if it goes to the bottom of the list, until the 1035 is done. When the 1035 is done, you'll come in here and mark that case replaced. I'm not going to do it because it'll take it off this list and I'll put it in my replaced case list here. So you'll keep an archive of every case you ever replace, and it gives you a total up here. So the cost of this entire system, all of the ALYZER products, is $100 a month. It's normally $249, but because of IAMS, you get a huge discount. So if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, I've had this for a year, I've spent $1,200, but man, ALYZER has found me $1.5 million. So that means with commissions, I've made about $90,000+. Oh my goodness. Okay, I paid $1,200, I've made over 90. I think I'm going to keep this. This software is making me money. This is great. So that's pretty much how ALYZER works. That there's some more things to it, but I pretty much touched on everything. The only other things is like, searching for policy numbers, or if you want to filter your cases, you can put prospects in. So if you meet somebody that owns an index annuity and you say, hey, I do a free analysis, you can go ahead and put them in. And we'll just put in like Joe K. He has an American National, whatever, power, whatever. There we go. We'll just do that one. And then you can mark it as a prospect. And so when you enter that case in and you go to your list, let me get back to cases here, that will show up as a prospect and not a client. And then you can actually see how much in here, how many cases you have as client cases, prospect cases, and how much money. So then you can walk them through that same process and get their annuity replaced if it needs to be replaced. So it's a great little marketing tool. It literally makes you an expert. Introduce yourself as an expert when you meet people. And then you can get them to give you their most current statement and you can plug it all in. Now, I know we're getting close to the end of time here. Let me talk about entering cases in. All right, when you go to create a new case, guys, the hard part is not entering in the information. It's actually pretty simple to enter in each method. Probably take you 5 to 10 minutes if you know how to read the statements. That's the tricky part, is knowing all the little idiosyncrasies of every 11-month statement. So if you take the time to do it, it might take you some time. It'd be worth it because getting all your cases in one place, getting them shared with your marketer at IAMS, it's worth it. You guys, because now they're going to be watching your cases just like, right along with you, and that's going to make you more money. But that initial, entering them in, especially if you've got hundreds of cases, I want to talk to you about a new program that we just offered. We're literally getting it put on here. It's going to be right up here by the FAQ. There's going to be a button there that's called the easy case entry option. So what that means is you click that, we charge you $7.50 one-time fee per case. And all you got to do is it'll create a folder for you. You just drop your statements in the folder. My staff will get them entered in and build your ALYZER, your book of business out. So it's like I said, it's a one-time fee. And once they're all in there, then you're off and running. You're going to make so much money, it'll make your head spin. So again, it's just $7.50 one time per case. So I would definitely encourage you to do that, because the quicker you can get them in, you're not going to miss anything. You're going to be able to start planning and using the system the way it's designed. And IAMS is here to help you. I'm here to help you. My staff's here, and we just want to get you up and running, because that's when you're going to really start seeing the benefits from this and how much it's going to make you. So that's pretty much it, Tim. I know I flew through it. There is more things. We got a whole big resource section the library is just full of great information, guys. And then there are the other programs on new business that you could catch on another webinar, or if you have questions, you can set up time with your marketer and me, and we can walk through them. But the whole system, again, guys, it's $100 a month. Where you go to sign up, if you haven't signed up already, is right here, indexalyzer.com/IMS. And it'll take you right out to this page. You just hit start free trial. You do get a 30-day free trial, no contract. You're not locked in for a year at all. We don't do any contracts because we don't need them. Okay, so you get a 30-day free trial, no contract. And you just hit that start free trial button and put in your information and you'll be off and running. And then again, once we get that button put in here, up here by the FAQ for the easy case entry, then you can hit that and get signed up for that and we'll get you up and running. Okay, Tim, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kent. Well, hey, I've got a couple polls and then we've got, it looks like 3 or 4 questions. We do have a few minutes for questions. So first poll here, and again, we're about to tell you what that free offer is, but the most participation is going to get double that. I conduct annual reviews for what percentage of your clients. That poll should be active and ready there for you. Definitely love your participation in that. While everybody's filling out that poll, Kent, we'll go ahead. Okay, it looks like that ended quickly. So I'm going to share my third and last final poll, and that is, would you like more information about ALYZER? So I don't know what happened on that annual review, but all right. So while they're going through that, we do have a couple of questions, and so one of them is, can you upload policyholders from an Excel spreadsheet into Review ALYZER?
No, you can't, because we need more information than what you've probably got on your spreadsheet. We're going to need the rates from their latest statement, their latest 11-month statement or their annual statement. And a lot of agents don't keep track of that kind of stuff. And there is no automatic upload, but I got to tell you, it's a lot easier than you think. And we can set up a one-on-one time to go through that. But again, the best, most efficient way to do it is to use that program. Again, we're going to get that law. I've been texting with my programmer to see if it's going to be ready. He's got a couple more tweaks he needs to make on it. And then you'll see that pop up there by the FAQ. But that is the best way to do it, because what you pay your assistants even is going to be a lot less than what that costs. And again, whether you do it or not, guys, I hope you do, because it'll get you started earlier. But we really don't make that much money on that. That $7.50 goes right to the team that does it, and that's how they make their living. And we give them basically $5 of it and hold back $2.50 for payroll. So whether you take advantage of that or not, or if you've got somebody that's just really good that knows how to read the statements and everything, then have them do it. That's fine. Whatever it takes to get all your cases in here. But I mean, if you're an agent on this webinar and you've got 300 to 400 cases, that's okay. That's okay. We've done that already for agents. We had an agent that had more than 400 cases, and it took us a little bit of time, maybe a week, to get them all in. But now he's off and running and making money like you wouldn't believe.
Awesome. Thank you. Looks like all the other questions are around the offer, so I think people are pretty excited. So what is the offer? So for everybody who's on the webinar today, you get 3 free uploads. So we're going to include how that process is going to work in our follow-up email. You're going to have 2 weeks from when we send that email out to you. So we'll likely get that out tomorrow. So 2 weeks from Friday, you need to get those 3 policy statements sent in, and IMS is going to pay for ALYZER's team to do that. So you get 3 free ones on us. Whoever participated the most, you're going to get 6 free ones. A couple other things: you do have to be contracted with us at IMS. We do have to have at least 3 active carriers for you. We're doing 3 for you. Let's make sure we have a minimum of 3 carriers, so when we get those reports back, we've got a few carriers to choose from. And then again, it does need to come in from in the next 2 weeks. As far as what we need, so what we'll need for that is the information on what the current renewal rates are and what the future renewal rates are. So really, it's not necessarily the statement, it's the renewal rate statement that comes out. That's the information that we need. Right, Kent? Anything else?
And there's going to be some situations, guys, where we might contact you because there's some really weird things that happen with some of these carriers. Like for instance, Equitrust. Equitrust is going to send out that renewal notice 35 days before the client's anniversary. That notice that comes out has no rates on it, nothing. That's just the form that you would fill out to make your changes, but you don't get to see any rates. They don't show you the rates until the anniversary when the actual statement comes out, and then they send you that same form again. So, sometimes you might send something in and it doesn't have all the information, so we'll call you and you can get the other information either from last year's statement, or sometimes we got to literally go back to the app to find things, or there's little things with these companies. Some of them make it like a theme. Oh my gosh, theirs is beautiful. Theirs gives us every bit of information right on every renewal statement, but some of the other carriers are a little tougher. But our staff knows all those issues, and we can tell right away if we need to get something else from you, and we'll just be in contact with you on that.
Gotcha. The other pertinent information that's going to come up is what the current account value is and what the surrender value is. So that will go into, so the rates is what we're going to put in there to get that initial part going. But then if we can have that account value and surrender value, we can help, decide and zero in on that perfect product. We all know that if you have a small surrender value, sometimes utilizing a product that doesn't have a bonus or maybe has a smaller bonus might get you higher caps and participation rates. Exactly. When the carrier spending those 100 pennies that's in every dollar, if they're giving you a bonus, then typically, there can be some drag on those rates going forward, which is also important on why you'd use those drawdowns as well as the retro pricing. All right, Kent, any final comments here? We've just got 1 or 2 minutes left, so I'll let you have a wrap up here, and then I think we'll get everybody out the door.
All right, yeah, so basically, guys, the bottom line with our system is if you want to show, if it's important to you to show your clients what really happened in every single one of these cases, what really happened over the last 10 years, then you need our system, because you're not going to find that anywhere else in the industry. That's number one. Number two, when you get your cases into Review ALYZER, get ready, because your commissions are going to increase. Everything's going to increase. But more importantly, what we can do for your clients by getting those allocations made better. So it's like everybody literally wins here. Okay, you're going to make more sales. You're going to definitely increase your client situation and get them making more money. And that's what we're all about. That is exactly what we're all about. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thanks, Kent. And just to recap, everybody, your free offer is you have to, and I don't think I mentioned it. Yeah, obviously you have to have an active membership with ALYZER, but if you don't, sign up today. We'll get you the code and the spot to go, and that's the one you want to go to our site. Otherwise, it's going to be a different price.
Yep.
Get your 30 free days. If you're already on ALYZER, go ahead and get us that information over. Got to be contracted with IMS, at least 3 carriers. Send us over the information for 3. And I got to think that we'll get at least 1 sale out of 3. And if we can get 1 sale out of 3, the commissions for that just paid for ALYZER for a full year, plus a lot more. I can almost guarantee it, unless it was the smallest MIGA in the history of the world for like a 2-year term. If we can sell any FIA with this, and again, this is, a perfect tool for those FIA. So Kent, Griffin, thank you guys for hopping on. Everybody who joined us today, really appreciate it. Looking forward to talking to everybody and working some replacement business with you in the next few weeks. Bye now.
Bye-bye.